The world's most revolutionary infrastructure wasn't built in Silicon Valley, but in a landlocked African nation with no oil, no sea, and no permission? That's not a metaphor. It's Burkina Faso, and it's being reshaped, not with billion-dollar grants, but with discarded tires, redirected rainwater, and solar panels rising from red dust. While the West debates carbon credits and energy diplomacy, Captain Ibrahim Traore has quietly mobilized a new vision, one built from waste, sweat, and sheer refusal to wait. Under his leadership, roads are being paved with old rubber tires, canals are delivering life to barren farms, and entire cities are preparing to run without fossil fuel or foreign dependence. This isn't science fiction. It's happening now. Not in a lab, not in a think tank, but in villages that once had no roads, no light, no harvest. And yet, as this quiet transformation unfolds, few outside the continent seem to be watching. No headlines, no documentaries, no applause. Why? Maybe because it challenges the very assumption that progress must be imported or approved. So today, we ask the question no one else dares to frame. Is Captain Ibrahim Traore building a new model for African development, or simply buying time in the face of an old system's collapse? Let's find out, one road, one canal, and one solar city at a time. He didn't call a donor, he called the people. And this is what they built. In 2022, Burkina Faso was not on anyone's radar. Its name didn't appear in trade reports or investment briefings. There were no press tours, no infrastructure expos, no glowing reviews in Western development magazines. What there was were roads that disappeared every rainy season, villages cut off from cities. Pregnant women carried on motorbikes for hours just to reach a clinic, children missing school because buses couldn't make it through muddy tracks, and government officials are forced to choose between paying debt or paving dignity. That was the country Captain Ibrahim Traore inherited. And what did he do? He walked away from the donor playbook and towards something the world never expected. A national road program built with old tires. Every year, billions of tires reach the end of their usable life. In most countries, they're burned, buried, or left to rot. In Burkina Faso, they became the foundation of something radical. Traore's engineers began collecting tires from across the country. Car tires, truck tires, bicycle tires, anything with rubber. But instead of grinding them into dust or melting them down, they did something different. They laid them whole, in carefully designed grids across roadbeds. Not randomly, precisely, strategically. Each tire was positioned to absorb pressure, flex with climate change, and distribute weight evenly across the terrain. Then came the second part of the formula, a special cement mixture, engineered locally, designed to bond with rubber and survive Burkina Faso's brutal climate, 120-degree sun by day, freezing temperatures at night. Once poured and set, the result was stunning. Roads that cost 40% to 50% less than conventional methods. Roads that lasted 5 to 6 times longer. Roads that were flexible, not brittle. Roads that didn't crack, even under heavy trucks or seasonal floods. But what Traore launched wasn't just an engineering hack. It was a philosophical revolt against dependency. Instead of importing asphalt at inflated prices, paid in foreign currency, Burkina Faso used its own waste. Instead of borrowing more money, they hired local workers. In rural towns, unemployed youth who once dreamed of escaping to Europe found themselves employed laying tires, mixing cement, and building roads. Thousands of jobs were created in tire collection, logistics, engineering, and maintenance. What began as infrastructure became an industry, and what began as road building became nation building. Let's pause for a moment and look at what that meant for real people. In the village of Dédougou, what used to be a 5-hour journey to the hospital was reduced to around 1 hour. Emergency care is now reachable. Teachers can get to schools without getting stuck for days in the rainy season. Farmers can deliver produce to the market before it spoils. Fathers can drive their children to school and make it back in time to till their fields. Even satellite images show the difference. Where there were once broken paths, dark lines now crisscross the countryside. A literal roadmap of transformation. But the story didn't end with one success. As local engineers worked on the roads, They began refining the method. Some started filling the hollow centers of tires with sand or recycled plastics. The result? Even stronger compression, even more vibration absorption. Others added low-cost insulation layers to manage thermal stress in the hottest provinces. This wasn't just a government directive. It became a collaborative innovation lab, on the ground, in real time, across the country. Perhaps the most revolutionary thing about Traore's road-building plan is that it works. No international oversight, no consulting firms, no billion-dollar budgets, just grit, rubber, and resolve. Burkina Faso isn't just building roads, it's building trust between government and people, between vision and execution. And the message is loud and clear. We will no longer wait to be helped. We will help ourselves. But if they could do this with old tires, what could they do with the sky, the rivers, and the sun? But this wasn't just about roads. It was about rewriting the rules of development. The world expected Burkina Faso to stay in its lane, poor, dependent, waiting in line for grants. But what happened next tore through that narrative like sunlight through colonial curtains. Once the road model gained traction, it didn't stop. Local mayors across Burkina Faso began requesting expansion into their provinces, not through bureaucratic tenders, but through local volunteer networks. In some regions, people donated tires themselves. In others, school children helped collect them. Youths formed cooperatives to coordinate logistics. Retired engineers came out of retirement to train apprentices. Even prisoners, under new reform programs, were brought into supervised public works to contribute.
Lovely viewers, welcome to AMF4 TV. My name is Richard Che. I hope you are fine. Okay, we are talking about how African leaders has to be united by this an influential leader, Burkina Faso President Ibrahim Traore. There is a video on social media, especially on our handles, that we have to share it to you for you people to comment on it, on how statements he has been making all these days. We'll keep on updating you on this issue, but don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more of this video as well as similar videos like this. Let's listen to whatever he said and on social media to see, and then also don't forget to comment when you watch this video. Kindly also not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, share this video for people to also watch and like as well.
Earning wages and dignity. The program had become a movement. It wasn't just about rubber anymore. It was about reclaiming the very idea of infrastructure from the hands of foreign contractors and returning it to the people who walk those roads every day. While other nations were still writing proposals and waiting for approval, Captain Ibrahim Traore's administration did something almost unheard of. They didn't wait. They didn't ask the World Bank. They didn't wait for EU greenlighting. They didn't appeal for Western NGOs to conduct studies. They simply built. This act, silent, practical, and unapologetic, was deeply disruptive to the international aid order. Behind closed doors, donor organizations grew nervous. Because if one nation could pave roads, generate jobs, and stimulate local innovation without needing their funds, others might follow. This wasn't a rebellion. It was worse. It was proof of concept. Delegations from Mali, Niger, and Chad quickly arrived in Ouagadougou to study the model. Engineers from Senegal sent questions. Officials from Sierra Leone asked to replicate the cement rubber formula. Even South Africa's climate ministry discreetly requested a copy of the structural report. But from the West? Silence. No congratulations. No headlines. No invitations to Davos. Because how do you celebrate a success that doesn't include you? And yet, quietly, international development forums began murmuring, "Is Burkina Faso proving that we've overcomplicated aid? What happens if low-cost innovation outpaces donor frameworks?" The fear wasn't that the model would fail. It was that it might succeed too well. Captain Ibrahim Traore never declared war on the West. He simply walked a different path and invited his neighbors to join him, not by burning bridges, but by laying new ones, with rubber. And in doing so, he has tapped into something deeper than policy, a hunger for dignity, a thirst for agency, a belief that solutions don't need to be imported. just uncovered. And if this story resonates with you, if it reminds you that bold leadership still exists, and that real change can begin with something as simple as a tire, then don't just watch in silence. Subscribe to this channel, share this video, comment, thank you, and tell someone that real innovation doesn't always come from Silicon Valley. Sometimes it rises from a forgotten road in Burkina Faso. We are Ibrahim Traore Vision 2050, and we're here to tell the stories the world ignores. But what if the road was only step one? What happens when the land itself begins to change? And just when you thought it couldn't get bolder, he announced this. Traore wasn't content with rebuilding roads. He wanted to reshape the landscape itself. In 2023, the government of Burkina Faso launched its next bold step, an artificial canal system designed not for spectacle, but for survival. For generations, farmers had planted seeds under an open sky and prayed. No rain meant no food. No food meant hunger. Not for weeks, but for entire seasons. Entire harvests were lost simply because the rain came a month too late or ended a week too soon. But under Ibrahim Traore's project, that ancient dependency was broken. Here's how it works. During the wet season, strategically built catchment zones collect rainfall that would otherwise rush out of the country.
Welcome back. I hope you watched the video, and I hope you've taken note of whatever statements he made in the video. Kindly not to forget to also subscribe, also comment on the video to see your ideas on what Ibrahim Traore is doing, how he's influencing African countries to also unite them for development. AMF4 TV has a lot of pack as this issue is concerned. We will always update you on this issue because AMF4 TV is an entertainment, political, and social network TV. Kindly not to forget to subscribe to our channel for more of these videos as well as other entertaining videos. My name is Richard Che.
Arise,